Mhm. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. As you know, when we talk about health and wellness, we often focus on the physical, the exercise, diet, and the things that we can measure. But the truth is, our mental and emotional well being are just as important, maybe even more so. So, today's guest is someone who truly understands what it means to rebuild from the ground up. Beatrice Mary Cordova. So, welcome to the show, Beatrice.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Lovely, lovely. So, before we start, I'll quickly love to introduce you to all of the listeners. Dear listeners, Beatrice is the survivor, entrepreneur, and the advocate for resilience and the empowerment. So, her journey has taken her through childhood trauma, abusive relationships, profound loss, and the addiction. But through it all, she has found the strength to heal, to grow, and to thrive. And now, over 400 days sober, she's running her own beauty and wellness business, like Midnight Beauty by Beatrice, and using her story to inspire others. So this is her first time sharing her journey on a podcast, and I'm really, really honored that she chose to do so. And we are going to dive into the powerful connection between mental health and the self care and the transformative power of sobriety and how healing is always, always possible. So no matter where you have been. Welcome to the show, Beatrice.
Hi.
Yeah. So that was like your story is definitely powerful and layered, and you have faced unimaginable hardships from a young age. So, what was the moment that made you realize that you needed to start reclaiming your life?
Um, I have to say, I was honestly just sick and tired of being
Mhm.
like physically sick and tired. Um, through everything, I just started getting really sick and just having, you know, daily sessions of, not feeling good and like say like throwing up in the bathroom every morning before I go to work. And it was just getting old. And I was just like, I am so tired of being sick and tired. Um, and I knew one thing that would help is if I quit drinking. And so that took me to the decision to take myself to a 30-day home that would help me because I knew I couldn't do it on my own. So I knew I needed help, but it took me a long time to get to that point of deciding this is it. I can't live like this no more.
Understood. So, I mean, it's so important to, I mean, acknowledge that the decision to heal isn't always easy. So, was there someone or something that gave you that strength to take that first step?
Yes. Um, my granddaughter who lives here with me, she's not like blood related to me. She's actually my husband's daughter's daughter.
Okay.
But her mom passed away of cirrhosis of the liver. She pretty
Mhm.
much drank herself to death at 32. And at that time, it was just like, I can't let her see another person die from alcohol.
Mm.
And I decided I needed to do something to get help, but I knew I couldn't do it on my own. And me and her me and my granddaughter have had a bumpy relationship, you could say,
Mhm.
because we have custody of her, and then her mom passed away
Yeah.
but we had custody before her mom passed away. So it was
Mm,
just kind of a very bumpy thing, but I was tired of being put second and doing so much for everybody else that I never did anything for myself. And that
mhm,
was just one thing. It was like, you know what, I'm sorry, but I have to do this for me or I'm not gonna get better.
mhm. Understood. Yeah. So, like, okay, I mean, leaving an abusive relationship. So, is one of the hardest things a person can do. So, what gave you the courage to escape, and how did you find the strength to keep moving forward?
Well, for me, the courage to leave the abusive relationship took a long time. Um, my my daughter had passed away
Mhm,
when she was 2 years old in a fire that my son started, and
mhm,
at that time, my ex-husband, um, he was the abuser and very abusive towards me and my kids. And when she passed away, he became even more abusive.
yeah,
Um, and after the fire, I had lost my daughter to the fire, but my son accidentally started it. So it was
mhm,
like I lost my son too because my ex husband at the time no longer approved of him being around.
mm,
So not only did I lose one child, I lost two children to try to prove that I was a loyal
mhm.
woman, you know,
Oh,
and so I stayed in the abuse for a long time, a lot longer than I should have, that's for sure.
that's true. So, I mean, like, uh, for someone who is listening, who might be in this similar situation, what would you want them to know?
I would kind of want them to know the warning signs and
Mhm,
to not let yourself get so far into loving that person more than anything else. And that's where the breakdown comes. So looking back, I would say to somebody in an abusive relationship, look at those signs early on. I mean, if there is
mhm,
something that you're questioning early in a relationship, like
mhm,
you're questioning that for a reason. It's
mm,
making you second guess for a reason. So think of that reason and before taking, any more steps further, remember yourself. Is this something that I want to live in or be around or have my kids be around for the rest of my life? Um,
mm.
because you want your kids to live longer than you. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I had to lose one at a very young age. So, like, it was like I didn't want to lose another child to an abusive person. But then
Mhm,
again, I also didn't want to lose my own life to an abusive person because it got to where I didn't know if I'd wake up in the morning because I didn't know if he'd kill me in my sleep.
mm. Wow. And I mean, that's such an important message. I mean, fear is real, but so is the possibility of a new life. And no one should ever feel like they are alone in their journey. Yeah.
Right.
So losing a child is also an kind of unimaginable pain, and yet you have found a way to keep going. So, how did you navigate the grief while also trying to rebuild your life?
For a long time, I suppressed the grief. I didn't
Oh,
show the grief.
mhm,
People knew I lost a child, but I didn't share how I lost a child.
okay.
Um, I just really didn't share that part of me. Once I left my ex husband and
Mm-hmm.
I left in the middle of the night, I kind of left that life behind, and I didn't want to like ruin an image of me trying to be a better person,
Mm-hmm.
um and just kind of moving on. So I just kind of hit it, like I just buried it deep down, and I kept burying it every day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, like, I mean, do you think that grief changes over time, or do we just learn to carry it?
I think we learn to carry it, but I don't think that is good for us.
Okay.
um we learn to carry it, but we need to learn to carry it in a loving way, because we are going to lose loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to not blame ourselves for that. Um, I blame myself for a long, long, long time, and I finally had to forgive
Mm-hmm.
myself for her passing, even though I knew it wasn't my fault, but I personally blamed myself. And until I forgave myself, and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
forgive myself until I got treatment for the alcoholism. It took 23 years for me to forgive myself for my daughter's passing. And I don't want anybody to live in that pain. That's a long, long time to sit with buried and deep hurting pain of something that you carried, that you could have not carried. You could have forgiven yourself, and you could have found ways and work hard on ways every day to make things better, to look at it as a positive thing. um I always thought that, my daughter would be so disappointed in me because I wasn't there, I didn't save her.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had to change my thinking, and I had to change my mindset, and I didn't do that until I started getting sober. That she would probably be more upset with me now on how I'm living, burying myself in alcohol every day and not forgiving myself. I think that probably was hurting her more than me not saving her, you know? And it took a long time to realize that, but I
Yeah,
had to.
I can understand. I can understand. And these are those things that we don't, um, I mean, talk about enough. But hearing your story reminds us that um, healing doesn't mean forgetting. It
Right,
means learning how to live again. Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
And before I got sober, I thought I could
Mm,
bury all those hard feelings with the alcohol, and nobody would know any difference. And the thing is, nobody did. Nobody could see the pain. But the thing was, I was trying to impress everybody else but myself.
mm. Yeah, I can understand all this. Yeah. So I'll quickly come on this, like rebuilding through self-care and the mental wellness. I mean, a big part of your transformation has been about prioritizing the mental health and the self-care. So, um, what are some of the practices that have helped you along the way?
I think my very first things that have helped me along the way is
Mhm.
like literally living day by day.
Mm,
We have today. We can only make today happen. I'm not promised tomorrow. Nobody's promised tomorrow. I'm not promised later on today.
mhm,
I need to make those minutes that I have from the time I wake up. I need to make those count. So,
Mm,
the first thing I really started to do was if I don't do things daily to get to
mm,
the bigger picture, I'm not gonna be a better person for myself or for my daughter.
mhm,
And that's what I really want to do is show her that even though she passed away, that I accepted and I grew. And now that it took so long, I want her to see that I changed my mind and now I want to help people because um I think that's what I was meant to do all along, but I never saw it. I always wanted to be,
mm,
healthcare. I was in a medical assistant for 20 years, so I always wanted to be the helper. But I think I just wasn't in the right path to help people yet. And it took me fixing myself and working on myself on a daily basis to realize I have to work on me every day before I can help anybody else. And that
mm.
is the first thing. So every day I wake up and I thank God I woke up because there were so many days I didn't want to wake up at all. So that I mean that's the first thing I thank God. And that I am awake and today I'm gonna make it count and I'm gonna try to help somebody today.
Okay, okay, understood. That's a great way. And like, what would you say to someone who feels like self-care is just unnecessary?
I think it's I think it's selfish. Um because I have came I've been sober over a year now and we had to take my granddaughter who lives with us now to the hospital to the emergency room and it was just because she had a real bad cold and cough but the flu had been going around her school and but in that instance I almost went back to wanting to have a drink again but I've been working hard every day to prove to myself that I can do this and I cannot, I can find other ways to cope than going to a substance.
Mhm,
So I make for sure that every day I'm learning something new and I'm putting those things to work. I'm actually implementing it. And when we had to take her to the hospital, I had a blink of a brain second that I thought, oh my gosh, I want to go and have a drink right now. I need to figure out how to get to the liquor store and get a drink and just do it. But
mhm,
also in that second, it was like my brain said, no, 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 no. You've been working on changing your mindset. That is not the direction your brain is going. Remember? It's like my own brain was telling me, remember? We've been working on this every day. This is the time where you need to put that into action and really think, why have you not been doing this? These hard times right now, Patrice. So even though I've been working on myself every day and I've been putting myself first, in that time of crisis and in that time of need, I was able to change my thinking that quick and be there when I was needed the most. I was able to be there for my granddaughter and be there for my husband and be that calm person in that right frame of mind because I had been working on myself every day.
mm. Understood. Yeah. So I can say like self-care isn't a luxury, it's a survival, and it's all about learning to treat ourselves with the kindness we are freely give others. So that's really really great. And uh, so for anyone who is listening who feels like they are at the rock bottom, what is the one thing you want them to know?
Well, the one thing I want them to know
Mm-hmm.
is think of something that you love so much, like you love more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
And that feeling that you put to that love, I
Mm-hmm.
want you to put that same feeling to yourself. And
Exactly.
that is going to give you the strength to move on to the next day because you know deep down inside what you need to do. But that'll give you the strength to put in the effort day by day to make it there.
Mm. Understood. Great, Beatrice. I mean, your story is one of the most raw, honest, and important conversations that we have had on this podcast. And thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. I know uh, uh, it's not so easy, but I mean, I really appreciate. And uh, also for everyone who is listening, if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this: healing is possible and you are worth the fight. So, no matter what you have been through, no matter how deep the pain runs, and you have the power to reclaim your life. So if you want to
Yes.
connect with Beatrice, support her business, or just follow her journey, check out Midnight Beauty by Beatrice, and we'll put all the links into the show notes for your easy reference. And if today's conversation has resonated with you, please take a moment to share this episode with someone who actually needs to hear this. And let's keep this conversation going because mental health matters. And with this hope, until next time, take care of your mind, your heart, and yourself. So, this is your host Avik signing off from Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. Take care. Thank you so much.